Hey guys, it's Nailbiter, and I've got another World of Tanks video here. This is another round with the Object 268 that I wanted to post. And if you saw the Ace Tanker video that I posted with this particular tank, you'll know that I really enjoy playing this Tier 10 tank destroyer. It's a lot of fun to play. It's got great mobility, good gun, 850 average damage, and you do actually get bounces with this thing as well. It's a pretty all-around tank destroyer, and I've got a full 100% camo skill on my crew, as well as a camo net and binox, so the camo is just unbelievable on this thing. And it's a lot of fun to play. I think at this point I've got around 4,250 as my average damage with it, and I've played about 150 games with it, so it's just a lot of fun to play. And I've had actually quite a few rounds where I do about 8k damage. So I could post a few more of these. I'll probably pick maybe one or two other rounds that I found kind of interesting to post with it, because it's a lot of fun to play. So this is a round on Westfield, and I've got XVM working now, so you can actually see the player stats on either team, and it's a fairly even matchup, I'd say. We've got a couple of pretty good players on my team, and the enemy team has a few good players. The E100 and the Batchat are decent. And they've got a couple of decent tier 8s as well, so it should be a fairly even round. And so on this map, this is probably my favorite position to go to on this side. I like to be a little cheeky at the start. You saw me poke over this hill and get a shot on the low, and then get another shot on that ISU 152. And so I mean, I have to be a little bit careful of artillery here, but I'm kind of willing to take that chance at this point. I do get a little greedy for damage with this tank, so fortunately I didn't get shot at all there when I poked over. Here I spot an E3, and immediately I back up because penning an E3 frontally, and with the gun depression on this tank, I'd have to expose a lot of my front in order to get a good shot on him. So that's not really something I'm willing to do. I just want to keep him lit, hoping that our artillery will hit him. As you can see there in the chat, I'm requesting fire on him. He's out in the open, so I kept expecting our artillery to shoot him, but he never seems to. Now, I saw him actually shoot there, and so I decided to peek over this hill. You see me get a couple of fairly lucky bounces, and I know the E3 isn't a particularly good player, so I wasn't expecting him to turn. And with the pen on this gun, it's about 300. I'm easily able to pen his side, even at that angle. Unfortunately there, our E4 that was to my left gets killed. I think he must have exposed himself too much. So I don't have anything covering my left flank now at this point, so I can't really afford to turn around and look back towards the middle. I'm trying to reposition slightly, and I was hoping that maybe I could find an angle where I could get into one of these bushes and not get spotted, and maybe have an angle to shoot at the guys over there. As you can see, I spotted the E3 there, and I didn't get lit. My sixth sense didn't go off, and that just speaks to the camo on this tank. And I poke up again, and I see the IS-3 pushing forward, and I get spotted this time, so I'm going to back up, try to angle myself along this hill so that I can catch them in the side as they try to cross. There I can see the E3 turning towards me, so I back up immediately. I'm going to just try to reposition myself along this hill. That's when the IS-3 pokes out. He really did not make a very smart move there. Bounces off my front, and I get a good shot into him, and then somebody tracks him there as well. So I was expecting him to get killed pretty quickly after he got tracked there. I didn't even bother aiming at him again. And for some reason, or I guess surprisingly, he just gets left there for a little while, and then finally I think our artillery finishes him off as I decide, okay, maybe I should actually look at this guy again. You know, somebody puts a good shot in him, and yeah, there the artillery finishes him off. But meanwhile, I was able to get a good shot on the side of this E3. The E3 is really a dangerous tank. I really don't like facing those things frontally with any tank. The Object 268 is able to pen it frontally for the most part, but there's still, I mean, if an E3 can get hull down, it's very difficult to pen. That little cupola on top of the turret is just about impossible to pen, so they can be very dangerous tanks. And there I get hit by the Tortoise. He was, for some reason, very eager to get a shot on me. I put one in him, and the IS-4 also shot him as well, so we crippled him pretty quickly. I keep just poking up over this hill, trying to spot anything that might cross over to where that E3 is, and the IS-4 moves up in front of me. So hopefully he'll be able to deal with him. And actually, I mean, I kept on hoping that artillery would shoot him. So you can see me pinging the map and trying to request fire on him, because this E3 has been out in the open the entire time, but our artillery just never decided to actually shoot him. I took a fairly stupid shot there at his cupola. The chances of that actually hitting were pretty slim, and you could sort of see the shell dip and just hit him in the turret, which there's no chance that was going to pen. I could probably pen him with gold rounds. I think the gold rounds on this tank are about 450 penetration, so that would probably go through just about anything in the game. But the IS-4 finishes him off. So we're doing okay at this point. Each team has lost one of their tier 10s. We're down a couple of tanks, but we're definitely not out of this game yet. And a bunch of these enemy tanks in front of me here are fairly hurt, so I took a bad shot at the T-28 there. I should have been a little more patient. I couldn't really see too much of his side, and he had backed up a second after I shot, so I would have been able to shoot him if I had waited, but I got a little over-eager. Here you can see a little more of his side, and I'm able to get the kill shot on him. So we're only down one tank. Definitely still on this, and then the IS-4 finishes off the E100, so we're back to even. As you can see, I've already done 6k damage in this round. I've been able to get some pretty good effective shots from this position. I think this is a really, really great position, especially if you're in a tank with gun depression. You can really use this to your advantage. The only risk about staying here for too long is that artillery will sometimes be able to target you and there's no cover here from artillery, so you have to be very careful about that, although I get fortunate in this round that the artillery pretty much ignores me the entire round. So I spot the Tortoise. I just decide I'm going to kill him. I was kind of hoping he wouldn't be aiming at me, but he was, and he pens me. So I do take some damage that maybe was unnecessary, but I get the kill shot there and take him out. Now we've got a T-54 on their base, and an AMX-12T also going towards their base, who are starting to cap, so I decided to turn back this way. I'm thinking maybe I might be able to catch somebody as they go back to try to reset. Can't quite see that mouse, he's behind the building, and there's that ISU that I hit way at the beginning of the round. Decided to shoot him. I didn't actually see the Proto to my left. I might have shot him instead of shooting the ISU, just because the Proto had more health and was more of a risk to that 113 there in the city. Now I'm hoping I can get a shot on the Proto as he crosses, but unfortunately with these buildings, it's a little deceiving looking at things in third person, because sometimes you can see stuff that you can't actually see in first person. I decided at this point to try to move up and support this 113, who's at really low health. I'm hoping I can hit the mouse before he shoots the 113, but unfortunately the mouse gets the kill before I could get there in time. I took some extra time with this shot. I wasn't actually sure if that would pen, but I figured with the penetration on this gun, and the mouse's lower plate is usually pretty easy to pen, so fortunately that shot goes through. Now this game is very close, or it's tied. Each team only has 4 tanks left. I've got a decent amount of hit points left, not a ton, but I can take a shot, and based on the tanks the enemy team has left, I should be able to deal with most of them. The bat check could be a bit of an issue depending on how many hit points he has left. But at this point my priority is just to take out this Patton, who is not a very good player, as you can tell from XVM. So I'm just going to get one shot into his side and then let the low finish him off. I know where the AMX AC-48 was last spotted, and I'm figuring I should probably turn left, and I actually wasn't fully expecting him to attack me so aggressively, but there he shows up right on the side of me, and I was just kind of fortunate that I was turning in the right direction. He didn't really catch me as off guard as, or he caught me a little more off guard than it appears, but I would just get fortunate in that spot, and he does get one shot into me. It was a little slow, but I'm able to take him out. Now our IS-4 that was in the north there got killed, so I'm a little bit worried now at this point, especially that bat check could be a problem. I can't afford to take any hits anymore at this point. That Object 704 could definitely one-shot me. But I decided with the speed of this thing that it'd be a good idea for me to get back up to the spot that I was in earlier in the round. I really think that this spot is a very powerful strategic position. And I figured as well, with the position of the low, he could probably spot anything that was in the city that might try to get a shot in my side. So I just wanted to make sure the object 704 didn't try to cross over into the area where the E3 had been earlier. So I just had to get right back up here. And with the 268 speed, you can really afford to reposition like this. I mean, that was a pretty good amount of distance that I covered in a short amount of time. And there the 704 gets spotted by the low. So I'm going to go shoot the 704, but then the bat shot gets spotted. And unfortunately, the low gets killed. I'm trying to take a little more time with my shot, but it just goes a little high. It wasn't a horribly aimed shot, but probably could have been a little better. My ping is also fairly high in this round. As you can tell, it's over 100, so that hurts. But fortunately, I wasn't spotted when I took that shot, so I knew that I could poke up over this hill. I figured the 704 wouldn't be looking in this direction, and I catch him off guard, and I'm able to get the kill. Now, the Batchat's a decent player, and at this point I was thinking actually that he would be reloading and heading back towards his base, so I cut a little bit over through the middle of the city. I'm going to cut left, actually, because I think he might be somewhere near this bridge. But instead he actually goes towards our base and attacks our artillery, which is a pretty smart move on his part. I wasn't expecting it. And I'm a little nervous at this point. But the artillery is able to take him out. That was a pretty good shot by artillery, and that's the end of the game. So I end up with a top gun and just about 1,250 experience and just under 9,000 damage. So a really solid round. I was happy with the way this one turned out. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later.